Revenge films.
My name is Sandra. I live together with my husband Leonard, our son Phineas, and my mother-in-law. My husband is an ordinary company employee and he has a stable income, but because of my extravagant mother-in-law, we had financial difficulties. That is also the reason why I was forced to work full-time. No matter how hard I worked to prove for my family, my mother-in-law kept being mean to me. One day, I had a very busy day at work, so I went home late. I wasn't able to prepare dinner right away, so I decided to serve the vegetable dish that I had prepared to my husband, who also arrived home late.
What is this vegetable dish?
That's a ready-made meal that I prepared yesterday morning.
Meal prep?
Meal prepping is quite convenient for days, when I don't have much time to prepare food.
Is that so?
After dinner, Leonard took a bath, so I tidied the table and I started washing the dishes. Then all of a sudden, my mother-in-law let out a loud noise, and she started scolding me out of nowhere. "You're disqualified as a wife for meal prepping and trying to shortcut your way out of cooking." Huh? What happened to you all of a sudden, mother-in-law? Who in the world would be happy with a cold dish? You've got to be kidding me. I go to upscale restaurants every week, you know. What are you thinking, trying to feed me with tasteless food when I have a discerning palate? Please calm down for a moment. A wife who can't prepare a warm meal is useless. It's embarrassing enough that you're working, so you should just stay home and prepare meals. She's the reason I had to work full-time. So I was pissed off with her attitude. I ended up talking back to her. Was I wrong to meal prep? If you're going to tell me to do that, then please control your extravagant spending habits. My husband arrived home while my mother-in-law and I were in the middle of an argument. Not understanding the situation, my husband looked at me dubiously.
What are you two quarreling about?
At the moment, my mother-in-law answered weakly, with a complete change of demeanor. Sandra told me that she doesn't have any money to give me. Then the next moment, my husband was furious with me.
How could you say that to my mother?
I never said such a thing! Mother-in-law, why are you making up lies?
There's no way that my mother is lying. You're probably just begrudging my mother for the vacation she went on overseas.
What? Of course not! Why would you even think that?
I know I'm absolutely right. I don't need a wife who bullies my mother, so get out of here!
After saying those words, my husband forcibly dragged me out of the house. Leonard has a bit of a mother complex, and he was spoiling his mother. So the moments that he thought I was bullying his mother, he turned his back on me. Without any footwear on, and no phone on me, I was thrown out into the cold winter night. Realizing that I was freeze if I didn't do anything, I ran to our neighborhood's house and asked for help. After I explained what happened, our neighbors called the police to report the situation. I ended up getting protection from the police. Both my husband and my mother-in-law were given a stern warning by the police, but instead of reflecting on their actions, they ended up with an unjustified resentment towards me. That resulted in even more bullying on their part.
What is this dinner?
Huh? It's fried chicken.
It's burnt! Can't you see that it's burnt? How do you expect me to eat that?
When my husband didn't like the meal, he turned the table over with the food falling on the floor. He even started thrusting me away forcefully.
How many years do you think you've been my wife, but you're still of that level? Why can't you just become a wife who can cook properly?
It's the middle of the night. Why are you two shouting at each other? What are you going to do if a traitor calls the cops again?
I'm going to sleep now. Clean that up.
What? You're the one who turned the table over, so clean that up yourself.
What did you just say?
The moment Leonard grabbed me, our son Phineas, who was supposed to be asleep in his bed, came to the living room. Stop bullying, Mom! Phineas said that and started crying. Realizing what was happening, I came to my senses and I shook off my husband's hand, and then brought my son back to his bedroom. I'm sorry you had to see that. Were you scared? There's nothing to worry about now. Are you okay, Mom? I'm all right. Don't worry, okay? After I tucked Phineas in bed, I went back into the living room. While I was cleaning up the mess that my husband made, the word divorce passed through my mind. Thinking that my son will have a difficult childhood if I don't do anything about the situation, I decided that I had to improve my life and seriously consider the future. Then one day, an event that became a turning point happened. While the whole family was gathered in the dining room for dinner, the doorbell rang to everyone's surprise. Huh? I wonder who was at the door this time.
Whatever. Just hurry up and answer the door.
Okay. When I opened the front door, two unfamiliar faces greeted me and introduced themselves. They showed me what appeared to be their IDs.
Please excuse us for the sudden visit. We're from the Child Guidance Center.
Child Guidance Center?
We would like to have a word with your husband and your mother-in-law. Would that be fine with you?
Yes, sure. Please wait a minute. I didn't know what was happening, but I called my husband and mother-in-law. For some reason, our son also came out of the house.
Your son here reported to one of his teachers that his father and grandmother are abusing you. His school then contacted the Child Guidance Center. That's why we are here today. We would like to have a word with the two of you. Would that be fine with you? What? Phineas? You reported us to your teacher?
So you're a traitor too? Like mother, like son? Then my upset husband tried to push out some forcibly, so the men from the center and I stopped him. However, my husband was still enraged and started becoming violent on the front porch, so someone called the police and they came to our house. I had been under police custody before, and my husband, who was given a stern warning, caused a disturbance again and was taken in for questioning by the police. I was also asked by the police about what happened, so I talked about everything that happened. The police officer then recommended that I get a free consultation with a lawyer. I learned that my son did what he could with his little self to help me by reporting the situation to his teacher. In order to give my son a better and safer life, I decided to end that miserable life and start a new one. Just as the police officer advised me, I consulted a lawyer about my situation. Because of that, I learned that is what my husband and my mother-in-law did was a moral harassment of the highest order. So I decided to prepare for a divorce, unaware of what was going on. My mother-in-law spent the next day frantically walking around the neighborhood making excuses, which ended up having the opposite effect. Rumors then began to circulate that it had become a police case. Our neighbors are giving me the cold shoulder because of you. What are you going to do about it?
Rumors are circulating in the office that I missed work because of a police investigation. Our family's a mess because of you. What are you going to do about this?
Well, that's tough. More importantly, could you please sign this?
Huh? A divorce registration paper?
When I shoved the divorce registration paper to his face, my husband looked at me in shock. I will get out of here and take Phineas with me. I've also decided to sue the two of you for moral harassment. So good luck with the alimony. Bye!
Wait a second. Moral harassment? Alimony? What are you talking about?
I'm getting a lawyer to clean things up, so I'm not going to talk to you directly anymore. Goodbye. Leonard, we don't have to deal with that. She's just saying things that she doesn't really mean, because there's no way she'll seriously get a divorce, so just leave her alone.
Yes, Mother. I'll understand. I'll do as you say.
I took our son with me and we moved to a condo. Then I immediately sued my husband and mother-in-law for moral harassment and demanded alimony from them. I was able to receive alimony very smoothly, due to the 2 police reports and a report from the Child Guidance Center. Because of my mother-in-law, I have worked full-time for many years, and when I told the company what happened, they made me a full-time employee so I wouldn't have financial difficulties, even though I became a single mother. As for my husband, he finally realized the extravagant spending habit of his mother after the divorce was finalized. That's also when he realized that he couldn't afford to pay for the extravagance of his mother with his paycheck alone. But despite that, his mother still couldn't stop going on vacations and eating out at expensive restaurants. Leonard couldn't manage to provide for his mother's uncontrollable habit of spending extravagantly. He ended up leaving his parents' house. After that, he came to see me to apologize and asked to get back together. He said that he realized how blessed he was to have me. He cried when asking me to get back together, but of course I rejected him. I told him to pay child support properly and thrust him away. Ever since then, he stopped contacting me. My ex-husband, who had a mother complex, blamed his mother for the divorce and ended up bearing a grudge and resenting her. The mother and son ended up living separately and lonely. I don't want that to happen to me and my son, so I hope to continue to have a good relationship with my son and live a happy life with him forever.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.